Good morning, powerful friends,
Good morning.
and welcome, Lori House. So, you guys, if you're watching the video edition, Lori and I just happened to show up in blue with our friends' mugs and our morning coffee. So, we're posing ever so cutesy and kitschy on the video edition. So, go check that out before tuning into the rest, or maybe I'll take a screenshot and share it. So, we're just off and rolling already into another episode. And who is Lori? Oh man, oh man. Like if I don't think I could love my guests anymore. And then I do. And then there's always more love. And there's just always more love. And this conversation, we're gonna take you through Lori's like really genuine, really true transformation. So Lori and I met through the Lit Factor with global leader Tracy Litt, revolutionary change in personal development and in a really holistic way that connects you to your mind, body, and soul. And Lori's sister has been working at the company for a number of years, very, very closely, like right in the thick of it all. And Lori just joined one of the signature programs, Mind Magic, about a year and a half ago, and it's been wildfire. So we're going to talk about that and that journey, and kind of do this before and after with it for you guys to really show and bring reality to what it is to have rapid success, rapid transformation, and in my opinion, in a very holistic and real way. So this isn't like a smoke and mirrors. This isn't a KFC recipe reveal. This is like a very committed and intentional investment of time and energy in self to propel forward. So welcome, Lori. So excited to have you here. So excited to have this conversation with you.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
Why don't you
Yeah.
warm us up with who you were working in the beauty industry, which I just like, we just talked about, the juxtaposition of that to the true evolution of self. So just take us through your origin story to where you are now.
Sure. So the past 12 years, I was in the beauty industry. I was a manicurist. I microbladed and did lash extensions, and I loved it. I loved my new clients that came in every day, and I got to meet new people, and I got to help make them beautiful and feel beautiful, right? On the outside.
On the outside.
Yeah. And, we would have conversations and I almost felt like a therapist, because
Mm-hmm.
your clients
Mm-hmm.
are just, they tell you everything. And I just fell in love with that part of being able to have that close connection
Yeah.
with my clients. And then I started going on a spiritual journey and for myself. And I was raised in the Baptist church. My grandfather was a Baptist preacher. So my entire life I grew up in church. And I was always, close to God, but not super close. Like I always felt like there was more, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I just started asking for more and more. And
Mm-hmm.
it led me to a healing service. And I won't go into that right now,
Yeah.
but that propelled me into knowing that I wanted to do something different in my life. And so that was stepping away from the beauty industry. And last year in June, sister turned 40.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Tracy, she was in Florida with Tracy at the time.
Yeah.
And Tracy flew me to Florida
Right.
to surprise sister for her 40th birthday. And that's when I got to meet Tracy for the first time
Mm-hmm.
and just fell in love with Tracy and her energy and who she is as a person. And it wasn't 2 months later that she was like, I really feel like, Lori should be in Mind Magic. Like, I feel it. I felt it too.
Yeah.
And so it
But you
was
didn't know
just
what it
perfect.
meant maybe
No,
yet, or like how,
no,
because
not
it's so
really. No.
different and hadn't
But
been in her
what's
world that much
right, I
up to
had
that
not been into the
point.
world at all.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
Melissa would talk about it a little bit here and there, but it just wasn't something that was really high on my radar until
Mm-hmm.
I actually met Tracy in person.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so I started Mind Magic last August
Yeah.
and immediately transformed, immediately embodied my highest self. And I was able to fully regulate my nervous system. And I was able to do all the work. And it changed me so much so that I said yes to Powerhouse last
January.
January.
Yeah.
And then yes to certification, to getting
Mm-hmm.
certified so that I could actually go out and teach and coach mind magic, because I truly believe that it is the framework that changes your life, and it changed mine. And now I get to take this beautiful work out into the world, and I continue to do my inner healing on myself, you know, because it's not a one and done thing, right? You're
Mm-hmm.
constantly healing and growing and learning and all the things. And I just started my cohort, my very first cohort with Mind
Wow.
Magic, about 2 months ago. And it's been amazing. I have 5 women in there that are absolutely gorgeous souls who are transforming before my eyes. And to be on this end of it and
Right.
to see other people's transformations after my own transformation, it has just really solidified that this is what I'm meant to be doing. And I'm just so happy to be doing it.
So let me take our listeners into some of this because I met you in the Mind Magic community. And when you guys, when Lori is talking about this instant transformation, I vouch on genuine, true, honest soil that she is speaking absolute reality, because who she was when she started is, I mean, how can I say this? She's completely more recognizable, and also like she's been dipped in the supernatural. When you said, you know, it was instant, I'm like picturing you just being dipped in the sparkly astral cosmos and coming out in your very truest expression of self. And to play a back and forth for you guys listening so that you can, you know, kind of relate and have faith, and also maybe bring a bit of three-dimensional understanding to what this transformation thing is. In one of the first group calls, Tracy does a lot of dancing and it's awesome. It's just a lot of music and a lot of fun. And so there's Shake Your Ass Friday, and Lori's showing up and she's like about to throw up on camera in the same room, I believe, that you're in now, where your background's even
Yes.
changed a whole bunch, right? And I see the Mind Magic book in the back there. Pardon me. And so she was just like, oh, I don't know what to do. And her sister was there at one point, and then they just freaking did it. They just ripped the band-aid off. They just jumped in the cold water. And that cracked open her access to her inner power, her access to her sun, you know, like if we're in energy as bright as the sun, she cracked another layer and revealed and was able to tap into that source. And from there, it's been absolute fire. And even sitting with her here, how poised and certain she is, and hearing that she has 5 women in her first launch of her program is incredible. And it's not a cheap program, you know. So like this is the true alignment. And authentic expression, because from the beauty industry, what you loved is so much what I love when I have those, I call them heart-cracking moments in my day job. And you really have a genuine, real, like 5D, like spiritual world connection with somebody, right? So you, Lori, have always been a healer, and you just didn't know how to serve it in an even higher way, right? You were just in a reality, and you hadn't seen other opportunities yet. And I'm sure that it came at the right time and place when you were ready to receive it, which you preempted with starting a deeper spiritual exploration for yourself.
Right.
So this is what it looks like in, from June 2022 to November 2023 is our timeline here. How much has changed? And so presumably you've quit the beauty industry and are now pursuing the true beauty industry.
Yes.
The true deep work. And knowing, being able to lead these women based on your own very up close and personal experience. And just to, if you guys are like me and you're like, what are all these different things she's talking about, the Lit Factor had like a program flow where you enter through mind magic. You can attend this 3-day retreat called Powerhouse at an incredible venue in Florida, and then you can get certified to become a coach in that framework. And now there's been some shifts in the business, and I can share some links about it later, promote our mentor, and you can explore that for yourselves. So that's the journey. And so now, Lori, I want you to share with us what it was like to be who, like, we'll call you before Lori, and then saying yes to mind magic. Like, I'm assuming that things had started to speed up internally to prepare you for the readiness of saying yes to a new program. But like, I remember how my decision felt, and I'd love to hear how your decision felt when you're saying yes to yourself and, going on a get to know you more journey. So tell us what that moment was like.
Well, when I decided to, even before I decided to say yes to mind magic, right before I ended my career in the beauty industry, I was at a crossroads, and I knew that there was something more. I just didn't know what that more was at the time. And so I was looking at different avenues in the beauty industry. I thought maybe I should go get my esthetician license, right? Maybe that's my next thing. Um, so I started checking into getting my esthetician license. Well, door after door after door kept closing in that direction. And I know when that happens that it's not aligned with what I'm supposed to be doing. And so once that started happening, I was like, you know what? That it's just not meant to be. Like, I know it's not meant to be, but I don't know what is meant to be right now. So I decided to go full force into isogenics. I had started isogenics earlier that year, and I thought, maybe I'm just supposed to go full force into isogenics. It's still part of beauty, right? You're healing your body with nutrition from the inside out. And so I put everything into isogenics. And then my magic came up, and I thought, well, this is going to help me in my isogenics business. This is great.
Right.
And so I signed up for mind magic. I was so excited. One of the very first visualizations that I did in mind magic, I came out of this visualization with a vision of me coaching and doing intuitive readings. And neither of those two things had ever been on my radar at all. And so I was shocked. So I started journaling, and I'm like, okay, coaching, intuitive readings, like, what is this? I've always been a highly intuitive person, but I've never really tapped into that part of myself. So as I'm going through my magic, totally transforming and embodying my highest self, living in 5D where there are no problems, and you feel so much love and light and joy and gratitude day in and day out. It's absolutely beautiful to live this way. And before mind magic, I wasn't my highest self, right? I wasn't living in those 5D feelings all the time. I was stressed out. I was worried a lot, overwhelmed with not knowing, what to do next. And going through my magic really, it changed me on a cellular level. It really did. And I started, doors just started opening for me. So when you go in and you do the inner healing and you do the work on yourself and you do the mindset work and the body work, you start to become fully aligned with your higher self, with God, and things just start happening for you. Manifesting, right? You just start manifesting things. And that is what has happened to me this entire last year. So one of the other things that I saw in my vision was in my visualization that I did was travel. And I thought, well, that's odd because I'm not one to travel a lot. This past year has been a year of nothing but
But
travel.
travel.
We every month and
Right.
sometimes multiple times a month, we have trips to
Mhm.
Florida, to Mississippi. Like we're constantly taking trips, and that has never been part of like who I've been.
Mm.
And so everything that I have set out to do has manifested. And in so many different ways. Like I could go, I manif I manifested living out here on the property with my mom and my sister. We all live out here together in
Oh,
different
wonderful.
houses. It's
Yeah.
beautiful. The truck that I have now
Yeah.
totally manifested that truck, every single detail about that truck. And it just, we found it. It was there. It was the very first truck we found. Um, just so many different things. And it's all because of the work that I've done on myself with mind
Mhm.
magic, right?
So here's what I'm hearing and I want to draw out is you were priming. We we get signals all the time, right? We get signals from the world around us, from God, from source, whatever you want to believe, giving us clues about who we are. And we're either ready to receive them or we're not when they come around. They never stop coming. But our true, from the moment that we came into existence in the womb version of self, that energy is always somewhere inside. And at some point, you might start to listen a little bit more. And that is what Lori has just like so gorgeously taken us through. She started to listen a little bit more. The voice maybe got louder, or a signal came in that was different, that caught her attention where it hadn't yet. And then she started looking for more, but more in the same, which I love because, as you said, it starts to close doors. No, dude, that's not what I was saying. Pay more attention. Not more of the same, more of more. And so now she jumped, right, from what more beauty things can I do, what more, because in that role you're getting that heart connection, so you're feeling that whisper, but it's not, the circle of that whisper is not complete yet, right? So this is where you start to search. And then because you took time and really, really dropped in and went on a journey with yourself in a guided meditation, you saw. And that, you guys, is where you can really create that magic when you close and go in and you try to find, you're just searching. Like in my mind, it's the universe. Like picture a nebula, a picture of nebula from NASA. That is what's inside us. That is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about, the energy of creation in the womb. That's what I'm talking about when I'm saying inner cosmos. It looks like this entire universe that is us inside, and that energy is connected through everything, So manifesting is really getting very clear and then being able to like machete your way through the jungle to just get to what you want, right? So me and my analogies, like you are just cleansing and purifying and removing everything that isn't, and getting through to what is. And that is what rapid transformation, rapid success is. So it's actually, cleansing rather than continuing to absorb things. It's a purifying process. And of course, yes, I'm going to say the stickiness. So listeners who've been on for a while will hear me say this a lot, all the stickiness that collects over time. And so however you get there, as long as you do, it will always be on time, like it was for Lori, because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter when, it matters that it does. I know an 81-year-old who's going full tilt right now. 81, you guys, like that's double my life. What about you, right? It's decades on probably most of us. 81, it's never too late. So in that way, when we find something, find that outer message, just try to listen, try to slow down a little bit more and like look and think and feel, right? And then connect your mind to your body so that you can start to embody but hear what's there, and then you get to play with it. You get to go out and really play full out with it, right? Because then you know more about who you are. And this, where Lori is now, we're going to see in another year and 5 years, how much more she becomes as a new leader of like waking people up and loving them into who they're more meant to be. So it's not like you're not meant to be that, right? But you forgot, or you lost it, or you put it aside for whatever's happening. And then, but it's always there to come back to. Yeah. Okay.
So fun. I love it. I love it.
This is what happens when you get magical humans together. Yes. So I'll let that sink in. I meant to put my disclaimer at the beginning to grab your journal, because these shows have been getting so heavy in such a beautiful way. And I'm always listening to podcasts when I'm driving, so it's harder to let the things flow through. But journaling is such a beautiful way that works for me to, really kind of touch what I'm experiencing. And then what I love about it is also it creates a record. And like, so Lori, if you look at your Mind Magic journal from day one, to day now, like you have this beautiful evidence log of the actual growth. It's undeniable. So let's take that into your relationships around home. Like, what was husband like when you're like, I'm blowing up my life and changing directions, and I'm blowing up myself into, a truer expression of who I am.
He has been so wonderful and supportive from day one. As soon as I told him that I wanted to quit the beauty industry and that I really didn't know what I wanted to do, but that I was going to, work my isogenics business, and then I wanted to do mind magic. And he was all for it. And then as I started evolving and changing, he notices that the people that are closest to you, it's funny because
Mm-hmm.
they kind of, if you're on the same level and with a person and you're super close to them and you're with them every single day, they tend to evolve with you and not even knowing that that's what's happening, right? Because you're constantly dripping
Mm-hmm.
your evolution and everything that's happening in your life onto them. I didn't really talk about it a lot. Actually, I did talk about it a lot, but in a way of like, I was just super excited to
Mm-hmm.
feel the way I was feeling. And I just found myself being that support for him when he would be in a situation or feel a certain way about something. It was it was just really nice that I could come from a different perspective with him, and he could come up where I was and look at things from a different perspective. And so it wasn't like I was like pushing,
Mm-hmm.
mind magic on him, or,
Mm-hmm.
my evolution. Um, but he has changed and evolved with me. Just seeing my change and evolution, he's just been there along for the ride. And it's
Yeah.
been so, so beautiful. And he's
Right.
even mentioned, like, he would go through my magic and do it, for himself, because he has seen the transformation in me. And my mom has seen the transformation in me, and my sister has seen the
Mm-hmm.
transformation in me. Everyone who knows me knows I'm a completely different person. I've always been a person of love and light, but this is taking it to a whole different level.
Exponentially enhanced.
100%.
Yeah.
So it has been amazing. And certain people will tend to fall away from you
Yeah.
once you start growing and
Oh,
changing.
yeah.
But the ones who are meant to be with you on this journey will stay with you,
And new ones
right? And then
come, right?
and
New
new
ones
ones come all
come.
the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just been a beautiful, beautiful journey.
That's the cleansing that we were talking about, right?
Yeah.
This purifying process. And so again,
Mhm.
like, you being a completely different person is also you being your most authentic and powerful self, like living in your full capabilities, not even potential, because potential means maybe it will happen, right? So it's not
Mhm.
living in a potential, it's really becoming the person who does the things. And that is like the fitness analogy of growing your strength. You're growing your soul strength, your spirit strength, and your true impact power in the world by just, really continuing to find out who you are and play and express it with
Mhm.
others. It's kind of like this beautiful concept, but then it's so incredibly tangible, and
Mhm.
then it leads to more things. So now you're running, your own coaching business. Like, it's
I
amazing.
know. Yeah.
And this is so fun for me to share with the listeners, is you've named it Houze of Soul, which is genius. Like, I just love that.
Mhm.
So, because like you get the play on words, it's super
Mhm.
branded, and
Mhm.
it's not limited as to what you can offer through there, right? Like,
Mhm.
you are a house, you are the house for
Mhm.
the soul. And you've done a beautiful job creating your own website and
Mhm.
figuring out all the back end pieces to support running a group coaching program, running, intuitive sessions, and all these kinds of things. So, like, what has that been like, and how has that challenged and grown you as well? Because now we're dealing with tech and decisions and programs, and having to do a lot of heavy lifting to get
Right.
things established.
Yeah, once I got, even before I got certified, going through the certification process, I didn't really know what my business was going to look like because I had never had a coaching business before.
Right.
And so I just started playing around. And one of the things for me this year was saying yes to anything that was aligned with the woman in my vision and my higher self, even if I wasn't sure about it, just say yes. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And as I did that, everything just went from there. So I wanted to build a website. I've never built a website in my life, but I went and I got my URL address,
Mm-hmm.
bought it, started creating my website, and I wanted it to feel warm
Mm-hmm.
and inviting. And I just started creating. And what's great is when you are fully embodied in your higher self and you're listening to your intuition and you're following the path that you're being led down, things just start happening and they keep happening, right?
Yeah.
So I just kept creating and creating, and it just started coming together so beautifully. And then I decided I wanted to do my first cohort, like right after certification.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want to wait. And I had friends who were, who have seen my transformation, friends and family that have seen my transformation that I had already been talking to, and they were ready. And then I manifested also working with another coach. I wanted to be a co-coach with someone else.
Oh, I want to talk about that. We'll come
And
back to that.
and that manifested for me. And one of her clients came into my cohort. And it has just been, trusting myself. This is a journey of self-trust and self-love. And the more you can love yourself, trust yourself, like you said, be your full, authentic, true self, magic happens. And it is literally one big trust fall for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you don't know what you're doing, all of your dreams are in the unknown,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to step out of your comfort zone to go get the things that you want, right?
Yeah.
And it has, which is why it's so important to regulate your nervous system, because once you step out into the unknown, you're like,
Yeah.
oh,
Freaking out.
what am I doing?
Yeah.
But as long as you are, fully regulated and you're embodying your highest self and you're coming from a place of pure love and light, magic does happen. But it comes from a place of trust. And that was the biggest thing for me.
And of being ready to receive
Yes.
before there's something to receive. So
Yes.
that's a way of, and it's just coming of like, what is the unknown is going to find out, and then being ready. Yeah, just being ready for what's going to come without knowing what it's going to be.
Yes.
And that you can self-regulate with that, because then that's like, we need predictability, right? We are
Mm-hmm.
creatures of habit, and there's so much neuroscience on how the brain works, and the fight or flight is such a primal and necessary evolutionary system that after however many years humans have been around still exists, even with all the technology and medical things. So we have to work with it instead of against it, and lean into it, and then really guide yourself, support yourself through it,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that is the slowing down to be in the body and absorb that uncertain nervous energy, and then continue to move forward. And so as you're sharing that, and picturing what to me and hopefully to you is a tangible example of like a before and after. And so a before we'll use is a job. So you know you're going Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, in and out, weekends off, X amount of pay, more or less the same people, week after week, year after year, more or less the same work, day after day, year after year. This is the known, right? The unknown is, in this case, in most of our cases, the business. And what is the business going to look like? And what am I going to fill my days with? What am I going to do? And what is the actual work? And I wondered for so long, because like it was happening, but I was still very cloudy. So I couldn't necessarily see, what was changing. Now I can see like my business has become this completely robust living entity that has its own energy, and then I'm just kind of taking care of it, right, and growing it. So but that was so unknown, and that was so real unknown to me for so long, and now it's no longer. So you just peek in the behind the curtain, right, and then you start to see more, because really, you guys, when we were babies, we're just not thinking about all this stuff. Right? We just weren't. And then we just get all overcomplicated. So it's not, it is and it isn't. But you know me, I like to simplify and really bring it down to like, you could look at it in front of your face to understand, because in understanding, then it helps with the fear and the nervous system rejection, right? Oh no, that's not safe. Oh no, we can't do that. We have to stay with what's known, because what's known is safety. But in Lori's case, what if she didn't? Where would those 5 women be now? What if she was so selfish and so hung up on what was and just did more beauty industry? Where would those 5 women be now? They needed her. They needed her and nobody else. So this also, it's never just about you and your journey along the way, right? Once you start to crack open, you have a responsibility to others who are waiting for you as well.
100%. And that's when we talk about, demoting our ego, our minds, and promoting our soul. So it's demoting our ego and our mind and promoting our soul. And that is just a magnet to bring those who are fully aligned with you and your work to you. And I love, Coach Amanda. I love Coach Amanda's, when you move, the universe moves. When you move, the universe moves. You have to move first. The universe already knows and already has everything for you. When you move in alignment, everything just starts happening like magic. And the beauty of that is, like you said, we're creatures of habit. We want to see the evidence. We want to know before we do something. But if you lead in full faith and trust, and trusting yourself and your higher self, and trusting the universe to provide for you, and you say yes, and you keep moving in that direction, the evidence keeps showing up. And the more you do that, and the more evidence you get that the magic is real, the more trust you build to keep saying yes. So
that is beautifully articulated. The more you step into the unknown, the more it becomes known. And then it's no different than what was, right? It's just, it's a very fun and almost philosophical play. But like anything, even if you stay where you are, it's still going to change. You still have unknown ahead. So you're not really doing anything. You're just doing more intentional and more playful, right? You're just having more experimentation
Yes.
in what's available. So like the buffet. The buffet for you. So the thing I wanted to come back to, and it's super interesting that you say co-coach, because I'm in the middle of releasing a program and I'm inviting in special guests because I am feeling the call to collaborate in a new way and to not have to be the star of the show. There's room on stage for everybody, and I want to share the access. And it doesn't have to be just about me. And so, I'm really good at connecting people. So I suppose it's another way of leveraging and just getting people to where they're meant to be, for the benefit of all. So, it's incredibly fascinating and beautiful to hear you say co-coach, and because to me that's speaking in a similar concept of what I just described, and of truly believing in the abundance, and of being able to do the things with others in order to serve and get the impact. And that, it seems like such an incredible expression of really demoting the ego. Yeah. Because now you're really in it for the purity of the service, right? So tell me more about this co-coaching thing, and how the magic is different when you're doing it with somebody versus on your own.
Oh, it's so beautiful, especially when you're doing it with someone and you're both completely aligned with the same vision. What's funny is I had done another visualization, and in this visualization, I saw myself co-coaching, but with someone else.
Okay.
And so I have learned on this journey to stay completely detached from how things are going to look in your business. And just knowing and trusting that when you have a vision or a dream, or you see something a certain way, don't get myopic with it. Like keep your eyes open and your mind open and your heart open to what that might actually look like. And so I had envisioned myself working with this other coach. And then this other coach over here came to me and said, "Hey, I would love to, for you to co-coach with me, with some of my clients." And we are fully, like I said, we're fully aligned. And it has just been so beautiful because, I have my circle of people and I have my social network. Mm-hmm. But when you can collaborate with someone else, it opens up a whole other universe of possibilities.
Yeah.
And I am just staying completely open, completely detached from any outcomes, and knowing that when it feels right and aligned, and I say yes, magic is going to happen. And that's exactly what's happening. She has already signed on 2 people for my next cohort in February. Mm-hmm. So just stay open to, you may think your business looks this way here, but stay open to all of the different possibilities, and don't and become detached, from the outcomes, because magic really does happen when you're completely detached from how it's going to happen.
Right. That's the unknown, and that willing to receive what's going to come from the unknown. And then you're not carrying it on your own back. You're actually really tapped into that universal source that you described, where I was actually picturing the scene from Finding Nemo where the turtles ride the wave.
Yes.
My inner world is a Disney movie.
I love
it. Given time. So shockingly, I haven't mentioned Elsa until now, listeners. And so like this swirling, starry sky waiting for you to jump in and catch a current, right? And come along, and then you know that you're held, and you're held in love and light, as you say, and that good things are coming. And the other thing too, from like a more practical business sense, is pop quiz, guys. Are you going to get more results if it's just you linearly trying to reach an audience? Or are you going to get more results if there's a bunch of you loving each other, trusting in the abundance that's available, and sharing yourselves in each other's networks? Because Lori's people are on my Facebook, and the co-coaches people are in Lori's Facebook, and my people are in people that you know, and so on and so forth, right? And that is how we can really achieve what we want for ourselves, sure. But when you do it from this far more holistic approach, it's not about you. It's just about the service of it. And that helps with the detachment. That totally helps with the detachment, right? Because then you can trust in what you're doing will come around. So I'm super, super excited to hear that, because I'm leading this movement as like a revolution in how businesses are built, and taking like bundles and things and summits and things into the next level, because even those have a linear element to them. And I don't need to be the KFC secret recipe for somebody. They just need to find it for themselves. And if I help them get to that, then that has served my purpose, right? Which is the same as yours, which is this deep healing and living a life. And it doesn't have to be a life of like glitz and glamour and, millions of people impacted. It just to be in love with yourself, and to be able to enjoy and have fun, and just feel like light, pliable.
Yeah.
And
which is how we were created, right?
Yes.
I had to unbecome all of my old programming, all of, like you said, the stickiness and the ickiness that's put on you over time from other people. I had to unbecome all of that to become the person that I was put on this earth to be. And that is what our journey is here. And that is what we're here to do. And I want every single person on the planet to feel how they want to feel, to think how they want to think, and to be who they were created to be. That's it. And live an abundant life, right? Yeah.
And abundance being whatever it means for different people, right? It's not a defined thing, because we all have different needs. So it's not about these multi-million-dollar businesses or $100,000 months. It's about the energy that you feel when you can lead yourself and create, make the decisions you want to have a life that you love.
Yes. Yes. And when we can do it together, because I'm in different groups, different Facebook groups, and different entrepreneur groups with all these different women. And, one of the women out of the cohort that we just got certified in, she's a nurse, and she's doing this Nurse Left program. And any nurse, anybody in the medical that I know, I'm sending to her. Because that's her thing. And she's going to help so many nurses. And you have to be out of that mindset of lack and scarcity where you have to have everything for yourself. There's always enough. There's always enough. And that's where abundance comes in. There's always enough.
Yeah, there's no limit.
But there is no limit.
There's no inventory.
Right. And when you live like that, and you function in life like that, the gratitude that comes from that, being able to live an abundant, free life, there's nothing like it. Nothing like it. So I love supporting people. I love supporting their businesses. I love sending people to people. And we're just one big oneness.
Yes. Yep.
We're all the same and we're all
That's right.
connected,
That's right.
so it's beautiful.
That's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Well, Lori, let's finish the show so we can hang out for
Yeah.
another minute and wrap this up. So you guys, if you didn't catch, and if Lori just hit you like a cup of fresh water, she's got another program intake coming in February. So the links will be in here. The show will be published very quickly, live time here. And so follow her along. She's on all the places and doing all the things, and is there's just, there's just such beautiful magnetic energy when somebody is reached a new level of their authenticity and is now like a new type of baby, because you are now rediscovering yourself. And in that, you're going to continue to expand. And that is magnetic energy. And so, that's why I'm so attracted to new business owners and people who are at the new stages, like the incubating stages of evolution, and where I really thrive in launching, because it's so tantalizing and it's so magnetic, it's so potent. Like what's happening is, as you said, the cellular reprogramming, and it just sucks me right in. And so anybody who's considering feeling Lori's vibe, now is an incredible time to get caught on that wave. And like it or not, as you said, is the drips, like you said with your husband, things are going to happen for you. So I'll have all her links. You follow along, you get on her email list so that you know when Soul Ascension launches intake for February. You follow her on Houze of Soul. It's just brilliant. It's just brilliant.
Thank you.
And continue to pursue your own evolution. So Lori, feel free to close us off, add, edit. Anything else that you want to share?
I'm very grateful for you, Mia. Thank you for having me on your podcast today. And to anyone wanting to up level and become their highest self and live in elevated feelings of love, joy, peace, abundance, it's possible. Everything is already there within you. So just say yes to yourself. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Thank
you are such a living example of that. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Lori.
Thank you.